will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Shaker Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on the court from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville churches will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry woman insurrectionist and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or the Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coats. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Catching stars to keep feeling like but seems since we found out we're invincible, we've been living in a dream. Since we decided to leave the night, there's no ending and there's nothing. I felt you made my bones stand. Your eyes well with tears. We're alive, my dear. Since we found out we're invincible, we've been living in a dream world. Since we decided to leave the night, there's no ending and there's nothing. We've been waiting down, kicked ourselves to the ground. Only lost to be found. You're my hero now. Since we found out we're since we decided to leave the night, there's no ending and there's nothing. right. We need each other and each other. It's right. We could see each other and share songs. It's right. We did crazy love, those crazy things. We should listen and you're so crazy as boys. This is good, love someone like you, it's march to death. This is gonna be you, you breathe your last. This is gonna take my place and hold and keep you safe. This is gonna stay. This is gonna stay. Right on time to break your head and make this bed. Right on time to crash those galaxies of that line. Right on time to make that night inside of me alive. Right on time to make me crazy now and watch you style. Who is gonna love someone like you that's marked for death? Who else is going to be with you when you breathe your last? Who else is going to take my place and hold and keep you safe? Who else would ever stay? 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 Who else is gonna love someone like me? It's hard to do. Who else is gonna be this way? Breathe it on. Who else would ever take your place and hold you safe? Who else would ever stay? Who else would ever stay?
Tenderness flow, quiet and lonely. Tired without your speechless, speechless. Tired and lonely. Coming up for Push me back. Silence. Silence. Father, ain't you can see? Coming up for air, coming up for air, coming up for air, coming up for air, coming up for air.
How should I wear my teeth? How should I color my cheeks? Where should I promise thee? Oh, the organs of my ribcage. Gotta give it all up to you, man. Gotta give it all up to you, man. Gotta give it all up to you, man. Oh, this is all for you, man. See, I came out of your body, and I was attached to your spine. I was a piece of your ribcage. I make the apple for your wandering eye. So this is all for you. I am a fraction of, I am subtracted from, I am you, your derivation. I am the accent of, I am the great big hole, I am the thin dark, I am the dust robbed second one. So it's all for you, all for you, he said. Welcome to the garden. Oh, this is where you'll pass your time. You are here a variation. You are here a derivation. So you make the most out of being second in line. You are derivative. You are derivative. You are derivative. You are derivative.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and tap out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Stag and sip out the beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruption. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spiral Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Shakespeare War Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and... There will be no pictures of you as Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block of the dead bus or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on the course of 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville churches will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow because 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry, woman liberation, and Jackie on Naples blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck on the rare earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a jumping up that room, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go matter with coats. The revolution will not fight terms and take calls fast rest. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution won't be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Throw your arms wide and feel the weight. Or let a sense of time could save the day. Was on to another end, a chance of fighting the sky and at the end of the planets turn elsewhere. If they only knew what makes us.
We are proud individuals living for the city, but the flame couldn't go much higher. We find God
By the entrance on the west side of the
and
school.
religions to paint us with salvation, but no one, nobody can
Last
give
June,
you
49 people were killed at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida.
Screams of anguish as police lead students to safety.
Through this iron sky,
This is the 18th school shooting already this year.
Right now, violence against Asian Americans is spiking across this nation.
Noble patricians, patrons of my right, defend the justice of my cause with arms. And countrymen, my loving follower, plead my successive title with your swords.
Romans, friends, followers, favorers of my right. If ever Bastianus, Caesar's child, were gracious in the eyes of royal Rome, fight for freedom in your choice.
I am his firstborn son, that was the last to wear the imperial diadem of Rome. then let my father's honors live in me, nor wrong mine age with this indignity.
Princes that strive by factions and by friends ambitiously for rule and empery. Know that the people of Rome have by common voice in election for the empire chosen Andronicus. A nobler man, a braver warrior lives not this day within these city walls. 10 years are spent since he first undertook this cause of Rome against the barbarous Goths, that with his sons, a terror to our foes, hath yoked a nation strong, trained up in arms.
Marcus Andronicus, so I do ally in thy uprightness and integrity.
Friends that have been thus forward in my right, now to the love and honor of my country commit myself, my person, and the cause. Rome, be as just and gracious unto me as I am confident and kind to thee.
The Lord Andronicus, successful in the battle that we fought, with honor and with fortune, is returned.
Yeah!
And what we are, the enemies of Rome.
Hail Rome! Victorious in thy morning weeds, cometh Andronicus bound with laurel boughs to resalute his country with his tears. Tears of true joy for his return to Rome.
In peace and honor live Lord Titus long!
Yeah!
My noble lord and father, live in fame.
Kind Rome, thou hast lovingly reserved the cordial of my age to glad my heart.
Long live Lord Titus, my beloved brother, gracious triumpher in the eyes of Rome.
Thanks, noble tribune, gentle sister, Marcus. Alas, the poor remains of these are dead. 'Tis these we bring unto their latest home with burial amongst their ancestors. Make way to lay them by their brethren. How many sons of mine hast thou restored? Thou wilt never render to in war. They are grief and silence, the dead are want, sleep in peace, slain in your country's wars.
Give us the proudest prisoner of the gods,
Yes!
that we may hew his limbs and on a pile admonish fractum, sacrifice his flesh before this earthly prison of their bones.
I give in you the noblest that survives, the eldest son of this distressed queen.
Gracious conqueror, victorious Titus through the fear of question. A mother's tears is fastened for her son. Oh, survive is not that we be brought to Rome to beautify thy triumph, but must my son be slaughtered in the street. Sweet mercy is nobility's true badge. Spare my firstborn son.
These are their brethren, whom you Goths beheld alive and dead, and for their brethren slain religiously, they ask a sacrifice. To this, your son is marked, and die he must. Away with him!
Titus Andronicus, the people of Rome send thee by me their tribune and their trust, and name thee in election for the empire. With these our late deceased emperor's children, be Candidatus then and put it on, and help to set a head on headless Rome.
proud and ambitious tribune, would thou wert shipped to hell rather than rob me of my father's crown!
Content thee, prince! I will restore to thee the people's hearts and wean them from themselves. Then, if you will elect by my advice, crown him and say, long live our emperor.
Long live our Emperor Saturnine!
Long live Saturnine!
Long live Saturnine! Long live Saturnine!
Titus Andronicus, for thy favors done, I will with deeds requite thy gentleness. Lavinia will I make my bride, mistress of Rome, mistress of my heart, and in the sacred pantheon her espouse. Tell me, Andronicus, doth this motion please thee?
It doth, my worthy lord. And in this match, I hold me highly honored of your grace. Here, in sight of Rome and Saturnine, the wide world's emperor, do I consecrate my sword, my chariot, and my prisoners.
How proud I am of thee and thy gifts.
Now, madam, are you prisoner to an emperor? To him that for your honor and your state will use you nobly, and your followers.
A goodly lady, trust me, of the hue that I would choose, were I to choose anew. Clear up, fair queen, thy cloudy countenance. Princely shall be thy usage every way. Madam, he comforts you can make you greater than queen of gods. Lavinia, you are not displeased with this?
Not I, my lord.
Thanks, sweet Lavinia. Ransomless here we set our prisoners free. Proclaim our honors, lords, with trump and drum.
By your leave, Titus, this maid is mine.
Come now, madam, are you in earnest then?
I, noble Titus, and resolve withal to do myself this reason and this right.
To each their own, that is our Roman justice.
This is not but treason, my lord. Bassianus, return Lavinia to the emperor.
No, good father, she is another's lawful promised love.
Huh?
No, Titus, no. The emperor needs her not. Not her, nor thee, nor any of thy stock, confederates all thus to dishonor me. Full well, Andronicus, agree these deeds with that proud brag of thine that sets I beg the empire at thy hands.
Monstrous, what reproachful words are these?
And therefore, lovely Tamara, queen of gods, if thou be pleased with this my sudden choice, behold, I choose thee, Tamara, for my bride, and will create the empress of Rome. Speak, queen of gods. Doth thou applaud my choice?
If Saturnine advance, the queen of Goths, she will a handmaid be to his desires.
Ascend, fair queen, Pantheon. Lords, accompany your noble emperor and his lovely bride. There shall we consummate our spousal rights. So, Bassianus, you have played your prize. God give you joy, ma'am, of your gallant bride.
And you of yours, my lord. I seize my own, my true betrothed, and now my life. Lord Titus,
Receive him then to favor Saturnine, a father and a friend to thee and Rome.
Bastianus, no. 'Tis thou
Titus,
that hast
hey!
so openly dishonored me this
My
day.
worthy lord, if ever Tamara were gracious in those princely eyes of thine, then hear me speak indifferently for all. And in my suit, sweet, pardon what is past.
What, madam, be dishonored openly and basely put it up without revenge?
Not so, my lord. Dissemble all your griefs and discontents. You are but newly planted in your throne, lest the people and patricians too, upon a just survey, take Titus' part, and so supplant you for ingratitude. I'll find a day to massacre them all, to raise their faction and their family to whom I sued for my dear son's life, and make them know what it is to let a queen kneel in the streets and beg for grace in vain.
Rise, Titus, rise. My empress hath prevailed.
Titus, I am incorporate in Rome, a Roman now adopted happily, and must advise the emperor for his good. This day all quarrels die, Andronicus.
I thank your majesty and hear, my lord. These words and looks infuse new life in me.
Come, if the emperor's court can feast 3 brides, you are my guest, Lavinia, and your friends. This day shall be a love day, Tamara.
Not good. Now climbeth Tamara, Olympus' top, safe out of fortune's shot, and sits aloft, secure of thunder's crack or lightning's flash, advanced above pale envy's threatening reach, as when the golden sun salutes the morn, and having gilt the ocean with his beams, gallops the zodiac in his glistering coach, and overlooks the highest peering hill. So Tamara, upon her wit doth earthly honor wait, and virtue stoops and trembles at her frown. Then Aaron, arm thy heart and fit thy thoughts to mount aloft with thy imperial mistress, and mount her pitch, whom thou in triumph long hast prisoner held, fettered in amorous chains, and faster bound to Aaron's charming eyes than is Prometheus tied to Caucasus. Away with these slavish weave and servile thoughts. I will be bright and shine in pearl and gold, to wait upon this new-made empress. To wait, said I, to wanton with this queen, this goddess, this Semiramis, this nymph, this siren, that will charm Rome's Saturnine and see his shipwreck and his commonweals.
Chiron, thy years want wits, thy wit wants edge and manners to intrude where I am great.
Demetrius, thou dost overween in all. 'Tis not the difference of a year or two makes me less gracious or thee more fortunate. I am as able and as fit as thou to serve and deserve Lavinia's grace.
Why, boy, although our mother, unadvised, gave you a dancing rapier by your side, are you so desperate grown to violent threats? Go to. Have your laugh within your sheath till you know better how to handle it.
Oh, full well, shut thou perceive how much I dare.
I, boy, grieve so great.
Why, how now, lords? So near the emperor's palace, dare you draw and maintain such a quarrel openly? I mean, yes! Oh.
And would your noble
mother for much more be so dishonored in the court of Rome. For shame put up.
Not I till I have sheathed my dagger in his bosom. Come on!
This petty brabble will undo us all. What? Is Lavinia then become so loose? Or Bassianus so degenerate that for her love such quarrels may be broached without controlment, justice, or revenge?
I care not. I love Lavinia more than all the world.
Youngling, Lavinia is thine elder brother's hope.
Why are ye mad? Or know ye not, in Rome, how furious and impatient they be, and cannot brook competitors in love? I tell you, lords, you do but plot your death by this device.
Aaron, 1,000 deaths would I propose to achieve her.
To achieve her? How? She is a woman, therefore will be wooed.
She is a woman, therefore will be won.
She is Lavinia,
Therefore must be loved.
Why then it seems some certain snatch or so would serve your turn, huh?
Oh, God. Aaron, thou hast hit it.
Would you have hit it too? That should we not be tired with this ado? For shame, be friends and join for that you jar.
The hunt is up. The morn is bright and gray.
I have been troubled in my sleep this night, but dawning day new comfort hath inspired.
Many good morrows to your majesty, madam.
I-
You as many ends as good.
I had promised your grace a hunter's field, and you have rung it lustily, my lord. Somewhat too early for new married ladies.
Lavinia, what say you? I say no. I have been broad awake 2 hours and more.
Come on then, let us go into our sport. Now, madam, shall ye see our Roman hunting?
Ho! What? Hast thou not full often struck a doe and borne her cleanly by the keeper's nose? Chiron, we hunt not we with horse nor hound, but hope to pluck a dainty doe to ground.
He that had wit would think that I had none. To bury so much gold under a tree and never after to inherit it? Ha! Let he that thinks of me know that this coin must gold a stratagem, which cunningly effected will beget a very excellent piece of villainy.
My lovely Aaron, wherefore look thou so sad when everything doth make a gleeful boast? The birds chant melody in every bush, the snakes like rolling in cheerful grass. The green leaves quiver in the cooling wind and makes check shadow in the ground. Under their sweet shade, Aaron, let us sit. And whilst the babbling echo mocks the hounds, replying shrilly to the welcoming horns, we may each breathe in each other's arms, our pastimes done, possess a golden slumber.
Madam, though Venus govern your desires, Saturn is dominator over mine. What signifies my silence, my deadly standing eye, my cloudy melancholy, my fleece of woolly hair that now uncurls, even as a viper when she doth unroll to do some fatal execution? No, no, madam. These are no venereal signs. Vengeance is in my heart. Death in my hand. Blood and revenge are hammering in my head. Hark Tamara, the empress of my soul. Seest thou this letter? Take it up, I pray thee, and give the king this fatal plotted scroll. No more great empress. Marcianus comes. Be cross with her, and I will fetch thy sons to back thy quarrels whatsoe'er they be.
Well, who have we here? Rome's royal empress, unfurnished of her well-beseeming troop? Or is it Diane, habited like her, who hath abandoned her holy groves to see the general hunting in this forest?
Saucy controller of our private set. Had I the power, some say Diane had, thy temple should be planted presently with horns. Unmannerly intruder as thou art.
Under your patience, gentle empress, 'tis thought you have a goodly gift in horning. And to be doubted that you're more and you are singled forth to try experiments?
Believe me, queen, your dark and swarthy friend doth make your honor of his body's hue. Spotted, detested, and abominable. Why are you sequestered from all your train and wandered hither to an obscure plot accompanied but with the barbarous Moor? If all desire had not conducted you.
And being intercepted in your sport, great reason that my noble lord be rated for sauciness? I pray you, let us hunt, and let her joy her raven-colored love.
The king, my brother, shall have note of this.
Good king to be so mightily abused.
Why have I patience to endure all this?
On now, dear sovereign, our gracious mother. Where does your highness with so pale and wan?
Have I not reason, think you, to look pale? These two have ticed me hither to this place. A barren, detested vale, you see it is. They told me here, at dead time of the night, 1,000 bees, 1,000 hissing snakes, 10,000 swelling wells and meadows, youth cries and mortal unweariness of sweat, fall mad or else die suddenly. Here, to the body of the dismal view, and lead me to my miserable death. And then they told me, foul adulteress, lascivious scoff, and all the bitterest terms you ever hear to such bed. Revenge it, as you love your mother's life.
I let it into my home. I let it into my home. Let a long way down. Let a long way down. I let it in from the I let it in from the Let a long way down. Let a long way down.
Hi, come, Semiramis. Nay, barbarous Tamara, for no name fits thy nature but thine own.
Give me thy dagger. You will know, my boys, your mother's hand will right your mother's wrong.
Stay, madam. Here is more belongs to her.
This minion stood upon her chastity, upon her nuptial vow, her loyalty.
And shall she carry this into her grave? Drag hence her lady to some secret hole.
And make her dead-trod pillow to our lust.
But when ye have the honey ye desire, let not this wasp outlive us both to stay.
I warrant you, madam, we will make that sure.
Come, mistress. Now, perforce, We will enjoy that nice preserved honesty of yours.
Thou bearest the woman's face to them.
Remember, boys, I poured forth tears in vain. Then your brother was sacrificed. Dear Andronicus would not relent. Therefore, away with her, and use her as you wish. Let me go. My sweet son, their peace? No. Let us satisfy their lust or death. The more suffer, the better of them may.
Come on, my lords, the better foot before. Straight will I bring you to the loathsome pit where I have slid the panther, fast asleep.
Very dull, whatever both. Might as well. Were it not for shame, well could I leave our sport to sleep a while. You're always sleeping. Very fatal place with drops of new shed blood. Sweet brother, hast thou hurt thee with the fall? Oh, brother, with the disposed object hurt that ever I would sight they heart lament.
Now will I fetch the king to find them here.
Why dost not comfort me and help me from this unhallowed and blood-stained hole?
The chilling sweat runs my trembling joints.
Oh, what a fearful sight of blood and death! Lord Bassianus lies endued here, all on a heap, like to a slaughtered lamb.
Reach me the hand that I may help thee out. I have no strength to pluck thee to the brink.
Nor I no strength to climb without thy help.
Once more, I will not loose again, till thou art here aloft. All right,
Someone told me there is light at the end of every tunnel. Said there's a light there waiting for me. But I don't believe it, not now, not ever. It's always dark when I go home. I am the dark one in my bloodline. I fear my shadow like a beast. It's a lingering mellow that won't leave me. I fear one day it'll swallow me whole.
Along with me. I'll see what hole is here. Say, who art thou that lately didst descend into this gaping hollow of the earth?
The unhappy sons of old Andronicus brought hither in a most unlucky hour to find my sister Bassianus dead.
My sister dead. Now I know thou doth but jest. She and her lady both are at the lodge on the north side of this pleasant chase. 'Tis not half an hour since I left her there.
We know not when you last left her all alive, but alas, here have we found her dead.
Where is my lord the king?
Here, Tamara, though grieved with killing grief.
Where is thy sister, Bassianus?
Now to the bottom dost thou search my wound. Bassianus here lies murdered.
Then all too late. I bring this fatal writ, the complet of this timeless tragedy.
And if we miss to meet her handsomely, sweet huntsman, Bassianus 'tis we mean, do thou so much as dig the grave for her. Thou knowest our meaning. Look for thy reward among the nettles at the elder tree, which overshades the same pit wherein we decree to bury Bassianus. Do this and purchase us thy lasting friends. Oh, Tamara, was ever heard the like?
My lord, here is the envelope of gold.
Two of thy whelps, fell curs of bloody kind, have here bereft my sister of her life. Go, drag them from the pit unto the prison. There let them bide until we've devised some never heard of torturing pain for them.
High Emperor. Upon my feeble knee, I beg this boon with tears not lightly shed, that this fell fault of my accursed sons, accursed if the fault be proved in them.
If it be proved, you see it is apparent.
They are ready to answer their suspicion at your highness' will.
Let them not speak a word. The guilt is plain. For by my soul, were there worse end than death, that end upon them should be executed.
Emperor, gracious Emperor.
Do it, Dad! Help us!
Come on, Titus, father.
Lucius!
Who's this? Niece? Oh. Speak, thou big niece. What stern, ungentle hands have lopped and hewed and made thy body bare of her two branches. Oh, sweet ornaments. Why dost not speak to me? Alas, a crimson river of warm blood doth rise and fall between thy rosed lip. And sure some evil hath deflowered thee, unless thou shouldst detect him, cut thy tongue. Now thou turn'st away thy face for shame. Shall I speak for thee? Shall I say 'tis so? Oh, that I knew thy heart, and knew the beast, that I might rail at him to ease my mind. Fair Philomela, she but lost her crafty or evil cousin hast thou met, and he hath cut those pretty fingers off. Come, let us go and make thy father blind. Do not draw back, for we will mourn with thee. Could our mourning ease thy misery?
Hear me, great fathers, noble tribunes, thus, for pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept. For all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, and for these bitter tears which now you see, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls are not corrupted as 'tis thought. Reverend tribunes, gentle aged men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say which never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators.
Rise, noble father, you lament in vain.
Ah, Lucius, for thy siblings let me plead.
No tribune will hear you.
Like there's no matter, you plead I must. Wherefore standst thou with thy weapon drawn?
To rescue my two siblings from their deaths, for which attempt the judges have pronounced my everlasting doom of banishment.
Foolish Lucius, dost thou not perceive that Rome is but a wilderness of tigers? Tigers must prey, and Rome affords no prey but me and mine.
Titus, prepare thy aged eyes to weep, or if not, thy noble heart to break. I bring consuming sorrow to thine age.
Will it consume me? Let me see it then. Oh my God.
This was thy daughter. Aye, this object kills me.
Speak, Lavinia. What accursed hand hath made thee handless in thy father's sight? My grief is at the height before thou camest. Give me a sword, I'll chop off my hands too, for they have fought for Rome, and all in vain.
Speak, gentle sister, who hath martyred thee? But that delightful engine of her thoughts is torn from forth that pretty hollow cage. Well, say thou for her, who hath done this deed? But thus I found her, straying in the park, seeking to hide herself as doth a deer that hath received some unrecurring wound.
It was my dear. And he that wounded her hath hurt me more than had he killed me dead. This way to death. My wretched heirs are gone. Here stands my other one, now banished, and here my sister weeping at my woes. But that which gives my soul the greatest spurn is dear Lavinia. Dearer than my soul. Now I behold thy lively body so. Thou hast no hands to wipe away thy tears, nor tongue to tell me who hath martyred thee. Thy betrothed is dead, and for her death thy siblings are condemned, and dead by this. Look, Marcus. Look, Lucius, look on her.
What shall we do?
Let us that have our tongues plot some deuce of further misery.
Titus Andronicus, my lord the emperor sends this word, that if thy love thy children, let Marcus or Lucius or thyself old Titus, or any one of you chop off your hand and send it to the king, he for the same will send thee hither both thy sons alive, and that shall be the ransom for their fault.
Oh, gracious Emperor! Oh, gentle air! Never raven sing so like a lark. With all my heart, I will give the Emperor my hand.
Stay, father! For that noble hand of thine that hath thrown down so many enemies shall not be sent. My hand will serve the turn. My youth can better spare my blood than you, and therefore mine shall save my siblings' lives. My hands have been but idle, and it served to save these two young ones from
They
death.
come, agree whose hand shall come along, for fear they die before their ransom comes.
My hand shall go, my heaven it shall not go.
Please! Strive no more. Good Aaron, 'twill be mine. Lend me thy hand, and I will give thee mine. What shall be his dispatch? Good Aaron, give his majesty my hand. Tell him it was a hand that warded him from 1,000 dangers. As for my own, say I counted them as jewels purchased at an easy price.
I go, Andronicus, and for thy hand, look by and by to have thine own with thee. Their heads, I mean. How this villainy doth fat me with the very thoughts of it.
Oh. Here, I raise this one hand up to heaven and bow this feeble ruin to the earth. If any power pities wretched tears, to that I call.
Do not break into these deep extremes.
Are not my sorrows deep, having no bottom, and be my passions bottomless with them?
But yet let reason govern thy lament.
If there were reason for these miseries, and into limits could I bind my woes. When the heaven doth weep, doth not the earth overflow?
Worthy Andronicus! Ill art thou repaid. Here are the heads of thy two noble children, and here is thy hand, in scorn to thee sent back.
Thy griefs their sport, thy resolution mocked. Now be my heart in ever-burning hell. These miseries are more than may be borne.
When will this fearful slumber have an end?
Thou dost not slumber. See thy two sons' heads, thy warlike hand, thy mangled daughter here, thy other banished child, this dismal sight. Why dost thou laugh if it's not with this hour?
Why, I have not another tear to shed. Besides, sorrow is an enemy, and would usurp upon my watery eyes and make them blind with tributary tears. And which way shall I find revenge's cave? Your heavy people circle me about, that I may turn to each of you and swear unto my soul to right your wrongs. vow is made. As for thee, Lucius, get thee from my sight. Thou art in exile, and thou must not stay. Hie to the Goths, and raise an army there. And if you love me, as I think you do, let us part, for we have much to do.
Farewell, Andronicus, my noble father, the woefulest man to ever live in Rome. As Lucius lives, she will requite your wrongs and make Saturnine and his empress beg at the gates. Now, we'll arm to the gods and raise a power to revenge on Rome and Saturn.
If I had a voice that would sing, after the night when I wake up, I'll see what tomorrow brings. With all I found underneath and inside, just to cry. Oh, give me
Come, grandsire, come. What means for niece Lavinia by these signs?
My lord, I know not, nor can I guess.
Some book there is she desires to see. Which is it, girl, of these? Open them, boy.
Lucius, what book is that she tosseth so?
'Tis Ovid's Metamorphosis. No, keep going. This one. Grandsire.
This is the tragic tale of Titus' treason and his rape. The rape, I fear, was the root of thine annoy.
Lavinia, wert thou surprised, sweet girl? Ravished and wronged as fair Philomela was?
What? Roman lord was it durst do the deed?
My lord, look here. Look here, Lavinia. Guide, if thou canst, this after me, once I have writ my name, without the help of any hand at all. Right, thou good niece, and here display at last what God will have discovered for revenge. Heaven guide thy pen to print thy sorrows plain, that we may know the traitors and the truth.
Do you read, Marcus, what she hath writ? Chiron, Demetrius.
What? What? The lustful sons of Tamara, performers of this heinous bloody deed.
I say, my lord, if I were a man, their mother's bedchamber should not be safe for these bad bondsmen to the yoke of Rome.
Come, go with me into mine armory. I'll fit thee, Lucius. And send 2 presents, and I intend to send them both. Come, thou will do thy message, wilt thou not?
Aye, with my dagger in their bosoms, grandsire.
No, boy, not so. I'll teach thee another course. Lucius and I'll go brave it at the court. Revenge for old Andronicus.
Yes. Lord.
What? Look here, Chiron. The son of Lucius, he hath some message to deliver us.
Aye, some mad message from his mad grandfather.
My lords, with all of the humbleness that I may, I bring your honors from Andronicus.
What's the news?
My grandsire, well advised, has sent by me the goodliest weapons of his armory to gratify your honorable youth, the hope of Rome. For so he bade me say. And so I leave you both. And so I leave you both.
What is this?
Well, Peggy, huh?
A scroll. And written round about. Let's see. No, I want to know. What's this?
Oh, one hand. Got it.
Yeah. The man of upright life and free from crime has no need of the slings or the bows of the Moor.
Now, what a thing it is to be an ass. The old man hath found their guilt and sends them weapons wrapped about with lines that wound beyond their feeling to the quick. And now, young lord, was it not a happy star led us to Rome, strangers, and much more than so, captives, to be advanced to this height?
Did me good to see so great a lord basely insinuate and send us gifts.
Had he not reason? Did you not use his daughter very friendly?
So I would we had 1,000 Roman dames that such a babe I turn to serve our lust.
Good morrow, Lord. Tell me, have you seen Aaron the Moor?
Here Aaron is, and what with Aaron now? What dost thou wrap and fumble in thine arms?
That which I would hide from heaven's eyes. Our empress is shame, and stately Rome disgrace. A devil.
Villain, what hast thou done?
That which that thou cannot undo.
Thou hast undone our mother.
Villain, I have done thy mother.
And there is no thou hast undone.
It shall not live.
It shall not die.
Herod, it must the Empress willed it so.
Give it me. My sword shall soon detach.
Sooner this sword shall plow thy bowels up. Stay, murderous villain. Will you kill your brother? He dies upon my scimitar's sharp point that touches this, my firstborn son and heir. What? What? You sanguine, shallow-hearted boys. You white-limed walls. You alehouse painted sides. Coal black is better than another hue, and that it scorns to bear another hue. Tell the Empress from me, I am of age to keep mine own. Excuse it how she can.
Wilt thou betray thy noble mistress thus?
My mistress is my mistress. This myself, this before the whole world do I prefer.
And this our mother is ever shamed, and Rome will despise her for this foul escape.
The joyless, dismal, black, and sorrowful issue.
Tell him it is justice and for aid, and that it comes old Andronicus, shaking with sorrow and ungrateful Rome. Ah! Rome!
Well, well. I have made thee miserable what time I threw the people's suffrages on him that thus doth tyrannize over me.
You're not great, sire. For in revengeful war, take Greek on Rome for this ingratitude, avenging some the traitor Saturnine.
No, my good lord. If you will have revenge from hell, you shall. Mary, for justice, she is so employed. We know if Jove in heaven or somewhere else, then you must needs perforce to stay time.
We
Are metal, Marcus. Steel in the very back. It belongs more than our backs to bear. We must listen heaven. You the gods to send down justice for the weak or wrongs. Good point. On my word, I have written perplexed. There's not a God left unsolicited.
My gods, what wrongs are these? Was ever seen an emperor in Rome thus afflicted, thus overborne, troubled, confronted, and used in such contempt? While ever these disturbers of our peace buzz in the people's ears, dare not have passed, but even with law, against the willful heirs of old Andronicus. Shall we be thus subject to his reeks, his fits, his frenzy, and his bitterness? And now he writes to heaven for his redress, sweet scrolls to fly about the streets of Rome. What is this but libeling the Senate, emblazoning our injustice everywhere? 'Tis he and his shall know that justice lives in Saturninus' health, whom, if she sleep, he'll so wake, as she in fury shall cut off the proudest conspirator that lives.
My worthy lord, my lovely Saturnine, lord of my life, commander of my thoughts, hone thee, and bear the faults of Titus' age, and rather comfort his distressed plight than prosecute the meanest or the best for these contempts.
Tis dishonorable, intolerable wrongs. Shall I endure this monstrous villainy?
My rightful emperor! The good empress!
What's the news with thee, Emilius?
Arm, my lord, Rome never had more cause. The Goths have gathered head, and with a power high resolved men, bent to the spoil. They hither march amain, under conduct of Lucius, daughter to Andronicus.
This warlike Lucius, general of the Goths? These tidings nip me, and I hang my head. 'Tis she the common people love so much. Myself have often overheard them say that Lucius's banishment was wrongfully, and they wish that Lucius were their emperor.
Why should you fear? Is not your city strong?
Aye, but the citizens favor Lucius, and will revolt from me to succor her.
King, be thy thoughts imperious like thy name. Then cheer thy spirit. For know, thou emperor, I will enchant the old Andronicus with words more sweet, and yet more dangerous. Emilius, go thou before, be our ambassador. Say that the emperor requests a parley of warlike Lucius, and appoint the meeting even at her father's house, the old Andronicus.
Emilius, do this message honorably.
Your bidding shall I do effectually.
And now will I to that old Andronicus, to temper him with all the art I have, to pluck proud Lucius from the warlike Goths. And now, sweet emperor, be blithe again, and bury all thy fear in my devices.
They are. Therefore, great lords, be as your titles witness, imperious and impatient of your wrong. When Rome hath done you any scath, let him make treble satisfaction.
Brave slip, sprung from the great Andronicus, whose name was once our terror, now our comfort, whose high deeds and honorable exploits in grateful Rome requites with foul contempt. Be bold in us, we'll follow where thou leadst, like stinging bees in hottest summer's day. Be avenged on cursed Tamara.
Yeah! Brave warriors, fearsome God. But who comes here, led by a lusty Goth? Renowned Lucius. From our troops I strayed and found this traitorous Moor with a young babe. With this, my weapon drawn, I rushed upon him, surprised him suddenly, and brought him hither. Say. Oh, worthy Goth! This is the incarnate devil that robbed Andronicus of his good hand. This is the pearl that pleased your empress's eye. And here, the base fruit of his burning lust. Why dost thou not speak? What? Death? Not a word? A halter, soldiers! Hang him on this tree! And by his side his fruit of bastardy!
Touch not the boy! Lucius saved the child! If thou do this, I'll show thee wondrous things that highly may advantage thee to hear. If thou wilt not, befall what may befall, I'll speak no more, but vengeance rot you all.
Say on.
I talk of murders, rapes, massacres, acts of black night, abominable deeds, complots of mischief, treason, villainies, and this shall all be buried by my death, unless thou swear to me my child shall live.
Tell on thy mind, I say thy child shall live.
Swear to me that he will, and then I will begin.
Who should I swear by? Thou believest no God,
Yet I know thou art religious, and thou hast a thing within thee called conscience. Therefore I urge thy oath, for that I know an idiot holds his bauble for a god, and keeps that oath which by that god he swears. Do save the boy, to nurture and bring him up, or else I'll discover naught to thee.
Even by my God, I swear to thee I will.
First know thou, I begot him on the empress.
Most insatiate and luxurious woman.
Tut, tut, 'twas but a deed of charity. My mask. 'Twas her 2 sons that murdered Bassianus. They cut thy sister's tongue and ravished her. They cut her hands and trimmed her as thou sawest.
Barbarous, beastly villains like thyself!
That cotting spirit had they from their mother. That bloody mind, I think, they learned of me. Well, let my deeds be witness of my worth. I trained thy brethren to that guileful hole where the dead corpse of Bassianus lay. I wrote the letter that thy father found, and hid the gold within the letter mentioned, confederate with the queen and her 2 sons. I played the cheater for thy father's hand. I pried myself through the crevice of a wall, when for his hand he had his 2 sons' heads, beheld his tears.
What? Canst thou say all this and not blush?
I, like a black dog, as the saying is.
Art thou not sorry for these heinous deeds?
I would have done 1,000 dreadful things as willing as one would kill a fly.
Lord Lucius, and you, princes of the Goths.
Welcome, Emilius. What's the news from Rome?
The Roman Emperor greets you all by me, and for he understands you are in arms, he craves a parley at your father's house, willing you to demand your hostages, and they shall be immediately delivered.
What says our general?
Emilius, let the emperor give his pledges unto my father and my dear Aunt Marcus, and we will come.
We see, we feel, we need, we fight, we seal, we cut, we seek, we love, we grow, we take, we eat, we break, we hunt, we hurt, we seize, we kneel, we hear.
What doth molest my contemplation?
I am revenge, sent from the infernal kingdom to ease the gnawing vulture of thy mind by working wrathful vengeance on thy foes. These are my ministers that come with me, rape and murder. Therefore called so, because they take vengeance on such kind of men. Come thou and welcome me to this world's light.
Art thou revenge? And art thou sent to me to be a torment on mine enemies?
I am.
My, how like the Empress' sons they are, and you the Empress. But We worldly men have miserable, mad, mistaken eyes. Welcome, dread fury, to my woeful house. Rape and murder, you are welcome to. Well are you fitted, had you but a more. Could not all hell afford you such a devil?
What wouldst thou have us do, Andronicus?
Show me a murderer! I'll deal with him.
Show me a villain that hath done a rape. I am sent to be revenged on him.
Show me 1,000 that have done thee wrong, and I will be revenged on them all.
Oh, look round about the wicked streets of Rome. And when thou find'st one that is like to thee, stab him. He's a murderer. Go thou with them. And in the emperor's court, there is a queen, attended by a Moor. Well mayst thou know her by thine own proportion, for up and down she doth resemble thee. I pray thee, do on them some violent death. They have been violent to me and mine.
Well hast thou lessoned us, and this shall we do. But would it please thee, good Andronicus, to send for Lucius, thy thrice valiant heir, and bid her come and banquet at thy house? And when she is here, even at thy solemn feast, I will bring in the empress and her sons, and at thy mercy they shall stoop and kneel, and on them shall ease thou angry heart. What says Andronicus to this device?
Marcus, my sister, 'tis sad Titus calls. Go, gentle Marcus, fetch thy niece Lucius, inquire her out from the gods, bid her repair to me.
This will I do and soon return again.
Go and tell the emperor and empress too, feast at my house, and we shall feast with them.
And now will I hence about thy business, and take my ministers along with me.
Nay, nay, let rape and murder stay with me.
What say you, boys? Will you bide with him while I go tell my lord the emperor how I have governed a determined jest? Farewell, Andronicus. Revenge now goes to lay a complot to betray thy foes.
I know thou dost. And sweet revenge, farewell.
Tell us, old man, how should we be employed?
I have work enough for you to do. No.
A villain! Oh, bear! We are the emperor's sons!
Oh, villains! Chiron and Demetrius. Here stands the spring whom you have stained with mud. This goodly summer with your winter mixed. 'Twas you killed her spouse, and for that vile fault, 2 of her brothers are condemned to death. My hand cut off and made a merry jest. Both her sweet hands, her tongue, and that more dear than hands or tongue, her spotless chastity. You inhuman traitors, you constrained and forced. What would you say if I should let you speak? This one hand yet is left to cut your throats. Now you know your mother means to feast with me, and calls herself revenge and thinks me mad. I will grind your bones to dust and make a paste, and of that paste a coffin I will rear and make 2 pasties of your shameful heads, and bid that strumpet, that unhallowed dam, like to the earth to swallow her own.
This is the feast I have been her to.
Rise, shine, blind, steal, light, mind, scar, clear, fire, clean, right, pure, mind, calm, sky, tar, mount, sin, teeth, tree, cut, push, reach, inside, feed, breathe, touch, come. No pain, no death, no hate, no time, no now, no suffering, no touch, no loss, no hand, no sin, no wound, no waste, no lust, no fear,
Blaze cook.
no greed, no suffering, no thought, no hurt, no hands to reach, no knife, no
Welcome, gracious Emperor. Welcome, dread Queen. The feast is ready, which the careful Titus hath ordained to an honorable end. For peace, for love, for league and good for Rome. Please you, therefore, draw nigh and take your places.
We will.
Welcome all. Although the cheer be poor, 'twill fill your stomachs. Lucius,
Yes.
please you, eat of it.
Why art thou thus attired, Andronicus?
Well, because I would have all well to entertain your highness and your empress.
We are beholding to you, good Andronicus.
Oh, and if the empress knew my heart, you were. Please, will you eat? But please, your highness, feed. My worthy lord, resolve me this. Was it well done of rash Virginius to slay his daughter with his own right hand because she was enforced, stained, and deflowered?
It was, Andronicus.
Your reason, mighty lord?
Because the girl should not survive her shame, and by her presence still renew his sorrows.
A reason mighty, strong, and effectual. A pattern, precedent, and lively warrant for me, most wretched, to perform the like. Die, sweet Lavinia, in thy shame with thee, and with thy shame thy father's sorrow, die!
No!
What hast thou done?
What hast thou slain thy loving daughter thus?
Not I. It was Chiron and Demetrius. It was they that ravished her and cut away her tongue. And they 'Twas they that did her all this wrong.
Go, fetch them hither to us presently.
Why, there they are both, baked in that pie, whereof their mother daintily hath fed, eating the flesh that she herself hath bred.
Can daughters' eyes behold their father bleed? Here's me for me, and death for deadly deed. Go, Lucius! Noble Marcus, it is known to you that cursed Chiron and Demetrius were they that murdered Bassianus, and they it were that ravished my sister. For their fell faults my brothers were beheaded. My father's tears, despised and basely cousins of that true hand that fought Rome's quarrels out and sent her enemies unto the grave. Lastly, myself, unkindly banished the gates, shut on me. And here this child, of this was Tamara delivered, an issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. And now judge my cause in this to revenge these wrongs. Unspeakable, past patience, or more than any living man can bear. Lucius, my heart is not compact of flint nor steel, nor can I utter all our bitter grief. But floods of tears will drown my oratory and break my utterance, even in time when it should move you to attend me most. Lend me your kind commiseration. Have done with woe. You sad-faced men, people and sons of Rome, by uproar severed like a flight of fowl, scattered by winds and high tempestuous gusts. But let me teach you how to knit again. This scattered cord into one mutual sheath. These broken limbs again into one body. Lest Rome herself be vain unto herself, and she who mighty kingdoms curtsy to, do shameful execution on herself. But my gentle Romans, may we aim to heal Rome's harm and wipe away her woe.
We seek harm to none and harmony for all.
We're not dealing in the evidence of hate. We're going to deal with love.
I urge everyone to continue the journey to transformation and justice. And this is where we begin. And we begin the journey of justice. We begin to fight for justice.
For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
And now the call for justice is in your hands.
And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us.
We gon' be alright. 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 We gon' be alright.
Thank you very, very much for joining us here tonight at this production of Titus Andronicus. Let's give it up once more to the cast and crew of this amazing play. Right after this, we'd like to invite you all to a talk back that we're going to have with the entire cast and crew, hosted by Concordia's own Pastor Jeff Leiniger. So, we invite you all to stick around, but if you do need to leave, feel free to use these steps to go through Addison Hall or go around the building. So without further ado, I would like to invite our crew up and Pastor Jeff Leiniger.
Is there still some blood left for me?
Yeah.
You want some?
It's got a lot.
I'm just gonna stand up, I think. You guys sit, I'll stand up. And I just first wanted to say thank you for an amazing production. That was amazing. I've not read this play. As you know, it's not done very often. But I read the script and Kristen's excerpts of the script, and I enjoyed it as I read it, and I had no idea what I was in for this evening. So thanks again for this amazing production. So congratulations on a couple of accounts. First, congratulations is Shakespeare at the Pillars. Yeah. I have dreamt about performing Shakespeare at the Pillars for years now.
I had envisioned perhaps June or July, a little warmer. But what a perfect production to do here at these Pillars, a play set in Rome. So I wanted to say just a couple of things that broad overviews of things that I really appreciated about this. Then I'll ask a couple questions. I'll give a couple pushbacks here and there. And then maybe we'll let those who wish, anybody has any questions from the audience. So first thing I wanted to say was, well done, Kristen, with the cutting of the show. I mean, it's when you cut Shakespeare, it's like, is that the unforgivable sin, right? Like how do you possibly cut Shakespeare? But I wanted to say that I thought what you left out was the right things to leave out, and the storyline carried itself. So I want to ask you, Kristen, first of all, what did you struggle most with in trying to adapt this play and cut it down to the time that we had?
I believe that theater is for the present, always and forever, and Shakespeare done in its entirety, while is lovely. It's important to look at it not as a piece of, not in a museum, right? And so when I approached this production and cutting it, it was really important that I looked at what was happening in our world today. And so all of my cuttings were, one, to essentialize it down from a 4-hour production to an hour and a half. But mostly it was looking at all of these moments of violence, right, just stacked on top of each other. And so in cutting it, what was the most difficult was all of the language, and this is his first play that he wrote, and so cutting it and keeping it in meter was really difficult. And so finally allowing myself to sort of release from that. But navigating through the play and connecting the moments of violence and stacking those on top of each other made the cutting a lot more easier to do.
Well, we know that Shakespeare, they cut their own plays. They didn't perform all of them, the full amount. And even the texts that we have come down to us, I mean, they were performed in different varying lengths. So it is not the unforgivable sin. And I thought it was really well done. Was there a scene that you cut that you really wish you could have had in here?
Yeah. We all learned the fly.
Oh, the fly.
Yes, and if you are familiar with this play, there is a moment in which who was it? Marcus attacks a fly. They're all at dinner. It's before Lavinia has revealed who attacked her, and Marcus attacks a fly, and Titus is really angry that she attacks the fly because he's concerned about their family, their kids, right? And she compares the fly to Aaron in terms of color, and then Aaron has a line at the end of it. So we were sad to bid that adieu, but and having to put it all together just didn't work.
Couldn't find somebody to play the fly.
Yeah, that's it.
So let me ask, I wanted to mention that the choreography and the music added so much, and it had a sort of visceral nature to it. Kristen, was that your choreography, or did you guys do that as a group? How did that develop?
It's a little bit of both. I'm not a choreographer, just like putting that out there, but we were interested in okay, here's what I'll say. We see enough violence in our world, and it is so easy for us to see it, mourn over it, and forget it. And or it is so violent that we kind of shut down and cannot exist with it. And I thought it was really important. And what I was curious about in this play with these guys was being able to sort of stay in the moment, experience everybody's sort of perspectives around these moments of violence. And choreography was sort of the door into that, to be able to sort of open our hearts and exist with it and not shut down, to then sort of walk back out into it. So, but the actual choreography itself was a little bit of all of us, sort of a collective group effort.
Yeah, I felt like the choreography and the music just added this energy to it. That when you just read the text, of course, you quite don't get that sense. And we know historically, music was a part of Shakespeare's play, so it's not unheard of that you would add that. But I thought that was excellent as well. Maybe I'll ask some of the actors. I got two questions for you about this. And any of you that want to speak up can. One is, what did you learn about yourself? Yeah. I'm the pastor. I gotta ask a tough question, right? What did you learn about yourself, as a performer, but then also just as a person in performing this play? What are you laughing at, Sarah? You paid to ask the big questions. Yeah. What did you learn about your?
I hate yelling, and I yell so much, and I hate it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. So I think one of the things I learned about myself through Marcus is that, and in this case, she and I are both peacekeepers, and we, at the beginning of the play, Marcus is the one who's like, maybe like we have that scene in the middle there with Titus and young Lucius where I say, no, let's not go for revenge. Let's go for justice instead. And so I think I learned a lot about myself in the sense that, like, I don't want to see any more violence in this world. And being a peacekeeper is something that I really relate to with Marcus. So.
I was cheering for Marcus the whole time. Right? Come on, bring us together, Marcus. And you get a sense in this play. And it, again, Shakespeare. You said it's his first. I know it was an early play.
Don't quote me.
Yeah, very early play. He was trying to make some money and get himself going on this one. But what I noticed about that is just there's a sense of this inevitability of it, and you're just longing for somebody to just turn it around and to stop it. For somebody to say no more, no, we don't have to keep doing this. And it doesn't happen until the baby at the end, It's like the baby is the hope. Hey, there's like a sermon in that, right? The baby is the hope. But you're cheering for Marcus or somebody to say, no, let's not do this anymore. But there's this inevitability about this tragedy. And with Titus himself, even his own daughter, it's like we need more blood. We need more blood, but more blood will only mean more blood. And you can't hate your way out of some things. And that's, I think, a message of the play, not quite stated, but you leave it with that.
Sorry, there's just something also, the play is called Titus Andronicus, but we were interested in sort of leveling the playing fields, right? Not just in terms of the company at large, but in terms of there is no good person in this play, right? Like, you're rooting for Marcus, but Marcus doesn't take action until the end of the play, right? And each of these individuals are just so consumed with their own need for revenge. And we hear revenge, we're like, yes, it's terrible, but we have a lot of conversations on revenge and justice and what is the difference. And what's so unfortunate about the world inside of this play is each person takes action for themselves, not really realizing the epic ripple effects, right? We explored this transition in which the violence that has been specifically between Titus and Tamara and those families has completely infected Rome, right? And it's become our new norm. And what do you do inside of that, right? And the destruction of the very foundation of the city, let alone its individuals. And so it's a hard story, right? Like,
yeah, it is, and it's in some of his other plays, you'll get these characters that have maybe more clearly be these light shining moments, and you get that a little bit with Marcus, but you wish it had it a little bit more, and so it leaves it to us for that responsibility. But other characters, so something you learned about yourself as an actor and then something you learned about yourself as a person.
I've got one. So I played young Lucius. I also played Emilius and Quintus. Yes, that's right. Anyways, but playing young Lucius, I realized that violence doesn't go just beyond, but between the two people, it starts with. It goes down and it goes farther than that, and it goes to. In our mind, young Lucius is a young child, and his world is destroyed by violence, and his only means to move further in life is to join in on that violence. And so the violence between the Andronicus family and the Goths, it doesn't stop at Titus, Andronicus, and Tamara. It goes beyond that. It goes to their children. It goes to their children's children, and it will keep on going unless someone stops it.
And actually, if I could add on to that, I think it's very striking how part of Titus's lament to the Senate or the tribunes is that he wasted or he spent his whole life doing violence for them.
Yes.
And then when it comes to Lucius, he doesn't even give it a second thought to bringing him right into it. And he's like, let's go. I have armor to fit you, small child.
Let's go, buddy.
You know?
What did you learn about yourself as an actor and as a person?
Yeah, so I think it's it's incredibly tragic to see, because everyone aspires to be a good person or a virtuous person, a noble person. And I think that Titus is one of those things that really just reminds you, like, most people are one or two tragedies away from ripping apart everything in front of them. You know, it doesn't take all that much. And I think it's sad. It's really sad.
Anybody else? What you learned about yourself as an actor or as a human being?
Yeah, I'll speak. Yeah, I'll do it. So I played Aaron, of course, and one of the things I learned as an actor, as a person, by myself, and as Aaron the character, is that there's a lot of language surrounding Aaron's character, and it's always referenced to something that's known to be black. I mean, he's called the Raven, the Black Fly. There's a black dog. So there's language throughout the play that the other characters see my character and only see the color of his skin. And that's all they get, right? And being a person of color in a room full of people that are non-people of color, I am that person in the sense that Aaron has to be the one in a crowd of many people. I have to teach myself what it means to be one in a crowd of my friends, right? So I've worked with a lot of these people many of times, but to really just isolate myself and kind of say, hey, what does it mean for someone to just see you for your skin tone? What does that do? How do people perceive you? Vice versa. You could be a person of color in a crowd of non-people of color and vice versa. Like, what does that, how do people perceive you and why? And is it fair? And it's just this constant battle of, I love these people, but how do I put myself in that position of isolation, basically? He's by himself the whole play. And his character has a baby with Tamara, and at the end, she denies the baby and himself. And he's truly alone in a room full of people that he came in with. And it's just very parallel to me acting with several of the people here, and it's a challenge, you know?
It's a wonderful character. I was surprised because I was expecting Aaron, that character, to be just the vice, just a simple vice character. Sort of like Revenge on one side. There's Aaron's this vice character, but I was really moved by there's some depth to that character. We often contrast Aaron with Othello. Othello's got the main part and has a lot of depth to it, but I appreciated you bringing out some of the depth of the character. These characters are not as flat and boring as I thought they were going to be. So congratulations. I thought, all right, we're going to have these guys, we're going to be killing these guys, and then everybody's dead at the end, and then we'll go home. You know? But I was just really impressed, you know, even on this early Shakespeare play, the way you guys were able to bring out real characters. They were real people to us. So well done on that. As somebody else, we'll take one more person that wants it, or one or two that want to share. What you learned about yourself as an actor, and then what you learned about yourself as a human being. Yes.
So I'm not an actor in this show. I was assistant director for it, and thank you. And this was a whole new experience for me because most of my work in the past has been acting or tech, which means that when it comes to the performance, I still have things I have to do for it. But in this case, I sat and I watched. And I am very much a person who needs to be in control of things. And with this show, I had to tell myself that I could just trust these people. And I could. And I saw it tonight. I've seen it this entire rehearsal process. And so for me, learning how to step back and tell myself, they've got it. My work's done. They can carry this on. That was a very huge and difficult thing for me. But it was affirmed for me throughout this whole process that that's something I can do. And that my spot on this side of the table, as we say, not acting, but being on this creative side to direct them, that's where I'm meant to be and what I want to do. And it was so beautiful for this to be the show that did that for me. So thank you all.
Well said. Yeah. I mean, I maybe make a comment on that this is also with music and all the art forms, that there's an energy that happens, but the directors and assistant directors, at some point, you've got to let it go and let it be what it's going to be and not micromanage it. Directors at some point have to trust the script, trust the interaction, and trust the actors, and then in the end, the audience as well. That this is going to be a thing that happens. That there's going to be a spirit about that. So that's a wonderful learning lesson. That at some point you've got to trust and let it go. So that's well said. We'll take Go ahead.
I think one thing I learned about myself through the whole process was, man, I really missed acting in person.
Yeah.
I think being in a room with people and being able to share the hardships that we all went through in the last year and what we're all still going through, but finding a safe a place with people that really care about the work was sorely missed. And I just think, that was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I think I think being outside, I was just thinking very specific technical challenges. I mean, I've done enough acting in my era. It's hard enough when you're on stage with good acoustics. I mean, you're talking masks and outdoors and projecting and a very difficult play, too. I mean, this is not like Romeo and Juliet, where you do Romeo and Juliet, people are going to love it no matter what you do. This play could really fall flat, but it didn't. And just the technical feat of working through that was really amazing. So congratulations to you guys on that. Yay. Okay, so let's take, does anybody have any questions? And do anybody out in the studio audience out there?
Way in the back. Yeah.
So the question was about the masks. They were doing this on occasion. Was that a creative choice or merely a practical choice?
You have it. I don't. Okay.
I'll go. I think it was kind of both. I hate to give you that answer, but there were moments where we could share the stage by ourselves and it was safe and we could take off the masks. some of us are double vaccinated, but there are times where Kristen would tell us, in the moment, this is the world we live in. Technically, in Titus Andronicus, they wear in this world of Titus, in our world of Titus, they wear masks, and so we had to embrace that masks were a thing. Am I missing anything? No. That's pretty much it.
I would just say that there were moments, though, that I at times it's like, okay, well, it's a practical choice, but there were moments when some of you, I don't remember who it was, but you would do that. You'd go like that, and then you'd say the line, and it just had that extra thump to it, that extra energy, and we do that in our world today, don't we? When we have these masks, and you take that mask off if you really want somebody to hear. So, yeah, there were some really effective moments with that. Other questions from the audience?
Or reflections or comments?
Oh God. Bad list.
Not a lot. I watched the script.
It
was
should not
pretty
have been.
good.
Not that you were supposed to hear.
A couple skips.
Yeah, no, it was. I was following along. They did really quite well. I mean, interesting thing. Shakespeare is hard, but it's easy too, because you know when the word's missing, don't you?
Yeah.
Like that's the wrong word. That's my word. That's not Shakespeare's word. So you know when the word's missing. But yeah, well done on just the pure memorization of it. I mean, fantastic. Other comments from the audience or questions or something? Maybe you could tell us about the soundtrack and the musical choices. Who made those and why?
I did.
Go ahead. Tell us why.
Well, so in my curiosity of wanting to explore these moments of violence in a safe place where our hearts could engage with it and not shut down, I sort of was just each song was pertinent to what we were exploring in that moment, whether that be the quality of it or the lyrics of it, and so that's the answer. A lot of times I would bring some song options to the company, and so they would kind of have some reflections and opinions as well. So it wasn't solely me, but I think that's the long and short of it.
Was it both the text of the song and the music, or sometimes one or the other?
Yes. So personally, as a director, I'm sort of in an early process, which we didn't really get this time around. I sort of use music as a way into the production to sort of understand its energy, and so it kind of becomes a catch-all. And then from that, certain ones speak out. I will tell you, so that our prologue and epilogue, which kind of bookended our parable of Titus, if you will, it was the very first song that I selected that sort of spoke to me. Its lyrics really, I'm going to mess with the lyrics. There's a second verse that we didn't get to share that talks about, that talks about the blood on the walls, that talks about mass confusion in an era of violence. And so that was the very first song that spoke out to me, and which is why we sort of bookended it and coupled it with a lot of these sound clips from our world.
Thank you. Yeah, the music, I mean, I can't imagine the production without it. It just, like I said, it added that edge or an energy to it. It's very effective. So I think yes, go ahead.
Oh.
Maybe just a comment about trying to get past Zoom. Did you notice that there's an energy with a live audience?
Yes.
That you can't get like on Zoom, and you can't get in just a rehearsal, but that when people are actually here, that as an actor, you're getting fed actually.
Yep.
And I felt that tonight too. Yeah, go ahead.
We're very grateful that you guys are here. You've been so kind as an audience. We've been rehearsing alone, and you guys, we know it's cold and that it's nighttime and that you're all stuck here. And so we're very grateful that you came and that you guys were so engaged. It means a lot.
Yes.
We're glad that you. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I?
We'll
Jump
take
in
a.
on these thanks real quick. This would not have been possible without one lady right over here. Get down here, Kristen. On behalf of the cast, for all of your work, all of your time, all of your energy, all of your artistic brilliance, we love you.
Oh, thank you.
Let me ask just last couple questions here. For the cast, favorite line of the show.
Aaron has my favorite line.
Which is?
What is it?
Oh, now what a thing it is to be an ass.
I really like the villain. You have undone our mother. He's like, I've done your mother.
Saucy controller of my steps.
I mean, I have to say that. Go ahead.
One of my favorite lines that's been in the show is that all the way back when we were rehearsing on Zoom, the very first days when I heard this line, it has stuck with me the entire time. When will this fearful slumber have an end? And that moment has just encapsulated so much for me about the theme that we talk about in this play of this violence in our world and just wanting it to be over, but not knowing what to do to make that happen. And it doesn't even feel real to us anymore. It feels like we're stuck in a dream, but we're not. This is real and it's happening, and that's our world, and we need to do something about it. So that's always been the line for me.
I circled that line, and that was I was about to say that because that's the maybe the power of Shakespeare. Maybe not so much in this play because it seems so distant from us, and yet not. And that's what's beautiful about it is that you say yes, that's something true that we all say all the time, and what a wonderful message that. Hopefully we can take from this that the circle of violence, we can't hate our way out of some things. And just turning back to like that baby at the end, that was really, tell me about the baby. Like what does the baby represent or what was, share with me a little bit about that.
Wow, the baby, my son.
Your illegitimate son.
The baby's born obviously out of wedlock, but also to the mistress of Aaron, who's the empress to the king. And it's like this baby that's born out of all this chaos, and everyone's dying around this baby. And the baby shouldn't be there in the first place, but it is. And life throws you things that's unexpected. The world may feel like it's crumbling around you, but yet there's that one silver lining, that one thing that kind of stops those domino effects, the one thing to look forward to in the morning, that one thing that brings you that energy, that breaks the cycle.
Yeah.
That's the baby.
Yeah.
Whose name is Cycle. Yeah, his name was Cycle from the start.
Well, I just wanted to say again how just moved I was by this production, how happy I was to see this at the Pillars, how the use of blood was, I know that it's a lot of blood up here. And, I'm not sure who's actually going to clean it up, but I wanted to say though that it didn't seem gratuitous. I know that in some ways it's supposed to be gratuitous, but it was artistic and it was meaningful in that you weren't just doing blood for blood. You were trying to say something with the blood. And I want you to know I got that. It wasn't just let's make this as gross as possible, but it was like we're trying to say something with it. And it was very beautiful. If it's a little sticky and gruesome, but it's also really beautiful. And so maybe my last thought about this is just to say that I'm so glad that this live theater like this can happen. and that our world needs this, and this university needs this. We need this tonight, this moment to share together and to do an incredible play with an incredible cast. So,
if I could jump in real quick,
yeah.
I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
Everything that you saw up here, from the students to the alumni to the tech to all of this, could not have been possible without the Concordia Theater Department.
Yeah.
Our mentors.
Yeah.
Our mentors, Jason Narvi, Stephanie Stroud, Tamika Jenkins, Andy Peterson, Brian Fruits, Kristen, the list, Justin Glombicki, Garrett, all these people who have come in and touched our lives, who have made lifelong friends with a lot of these people on the stage. None of that could have been possible without the dedication, the blood, sweat, and tears that our mentors poured into us. And that, just for that, I will be eternally grateful for these people, for showing us theater. Concordia nurtured us and gave us this home. And it's so sad to say goodbye. But here we are. And I just want to say thank you, Concordia. I want to say thank you, Jason, Justin, everyone over there, Stephanie, Tamika, Kristen, Brian, all these people that touched our lives, who in turn touched your lives. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, you guys. Way to go tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mathis.
I'm here all night, baby.
And come in and have a sound.
You are amazing.
I'll go get out of costume.
Come here.
I'm gonna walk up to him.